Welcome to video number 4 of YPL, the nXP. Step number 3. So let us try to understand what is the abbreviations for NX and P. Well, NX stands for the number of times any person wants to transform themselves, and P is nothing but prosperity. So as we know, there are various phases or stages in life that determines the individual's prosperity. So let's try to understand the various phases or stages in every human's life. To understand your lifetime prosperity, let us try to explore, as we earlier said, the various stages or phases of your life. Now, this is where the various stages of life where every human being needs prosperity, and this is we have come to this conclusion over a period of time in our research, and that's how we have been able to classify this. So after, as I said, after various years of research, we have categorized the stages of different stages of life in the reverse order. So we are going from the old age to the newborn. So that's how we are going in. The reason is very simple, because every stage is interconnected with the previous stage, or every existing stage is interconnected with the next level or next stage. So that is the reason why we have given this in a reverse order. So let's start with the old age. So what is the purpose of the age after 60 years? So the objective or the goal is to live a life with peace of mind, having lot of abundance. Yes, abundance with respect to everything, and especially the money factor. Then the happiness, individual happiness, as well as the happiness with the whole family. Then their living style. It again varies from person to person. And then the fulfillment of individual as well as the family. So this is the main objectives of any human being who is living a life above 60 years. Now let us come to one step down that. So what is the purpose of any human being between 45 and 60 years? Well, the main objective here is to achieve a life of their dreams. So whatever they have dreamt of, they are supposed to achieve here, because even if a single dream or a small dream is not fulfilled, then that will be having its own repercussions in the next level. That is, after 60 years, it will have its own repercussions. So that is the reason we are supposed to fulfill all our dreams within 60 years. That is between 45 and 60 years. So let us try to understand what would be the dreams. So the common dreams here is what we are talking about. It's a dream car, first thing. Second thing, it's probably their children's education. That would be one of the dreams. Then the children's marriage, of course. This would also be one of the dreams. Most of them, yes, they would like to purchase a lot of jewelries during this period. And also the dream home, where every human being aspires to have their own home. And apart from that, yes, there would be also aspirations for lot of property purchase, and of course, finally, lot of tours. Domestical as well as international tours. So this is what would be the major dreams of any human being who is living between the age of 45 and 60 years. Now, if you want to fulfill all these dreams, you have to complete what are the priorities in the level below this. That is, excuse me, what is the purpose of life between 25 and 45? Well, between 25 and 45, the main objective or goal is to achieve financial freedom. If you are going to achieve financial freedom, then only you are going to have all your dreams come true. If your dreams come true, then only you can have lead a life of peace of mind after 60. So this is all interdependent and interconnected. So let us try to understand what is this financial freedom and how to achieve this. Well, let us assume that if you are in the daily wages segment, okay, so this is your input, and what would be the output or the result of this? So it would be a struggling life, okay. So similarly, if you are employed, okay, so what would be the input? Input is that you are employed somewhere, and what would be the output? Output would, or the result would be, you are leading a average living life, okay. And next is self-employed. So what happens if a person is self-employed, and what would be their input and output results? Well, if you are a self-employed, then output would be you are leading a good living life. Okay, you are leading a good living life. Now, what would be the output of an entrepreneur? In very similarly. So, if you are an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship is your input, then output is you are leading a prosperous life. Now comes the last one. What if you are a multipreneur? Multipreneurs is that you are handling multiple entrepreneurships, then the input is multipreneur and the output result is you are leading a life that is having a legacy of wealth, right? It is the legacy of wealth. Now it is left to your discretion where exactly you want to place yourself and what would be your input and what would be your output. So we have tried to explain all the inputs and as well as all the outputs, corresponding outputs rather. So now let us come down to, if you want to achieve all the other parameters like discussed in the previous slides, then what is the purpose of life below 25 years? Well, below 25 years, every human being should have a common objective or goal to empower with knowledge. Now, how we are going to do this? Well, with this can be gained with respect to your educations. Then what are the multiple trainings that you are going to attend during this periods, and as well as how much of knowledge that you are going to gain here. So this becomes the most crucial and vital phase of your life, wherein especially we have brought up one more program called as YPL, which is with respect to the students who are studying between 12th year, that is from the age of 12 and between 18. So here is a crucial period of any human being where that particular child, either they are going to make a beautiful life or they are going to break their life. So that is what is the purpose of this particular phase of your life. Now coming back to the next level is, what is the purpose of the whole life? Right now, till now we were discussing about various stages of life. Now let us try to consolidate and understand what is the purpose of the whole life. Well, the purpose of the whole life or lifetime is to live an organic, healthy life. Because if we are able to lead an organic, healthy life, then only that person will be able to see the remaining phases of their life. So how to have an organic health life? Why should we have an organic health life is because we have the right to grow and fight all the sicknesses what we are being exposed in today's world. So we have the right to have the right water, the right balanced diet, the right organic food, so that you can develop a perfect order of living, and hence we can have a healthy lifestyle by eating healthy, doing exercises, sleeping well, keeping things simple, and also the most important, thinking positive. So if you are able to do this, then you have solution to every problem of your life. So we need a prosperous life to fulfill our lifetime with an organic health system. So do you agree with this statement or do you disagree? Well, 99.99% of the people definitely agree with this statement. So now let's try to just imagine a scenario here. Okay. So how is your life with lifetime prosperity? So how would it be? So we need to have a prosperous life because we need peace of mind, bliss, calmness, clear concise values that can lead our life, comfort, high spirits, joy, peacefulness, quiet mind, serenity, smoothingness, tranquility, and well-being. So when we have all these things, now that would be having lot of solutions to many of our problems. So hence what we require in this life is we need prosperous life to have, or rather to lead a fulfillment life. So do you agree with this statement? Yes. 100% of the people would be agreeing with this statement. Well, now let us try to understand how exactly we can or we are able to achieve it. Well, the prosperity of any human being directly depends on their competencies and also the rate of hunger they want to grow. So, with respect to this, what we will be doing now is that we will be conducting one more assignment. So, send a WhatsApp message to your facilitator or partner's mobile as mentioned below, that is YPL underscore AF2 to get your second assessment link. So, what is that we are going to discuss during this phase? And let us try to understand the way you are going here. You try to complete your assessment parallelly by pausing wherever and whenever you require, so that simultaneously you are also gaining knowledge, but at the same time you are also doing your assessment links. So let us go to the next. The first one is competency. So what exactly is competency? Now let us try to understand. Competency is the essential foundation upon which individuals can demonstrate their proficiency and effectiveness in carrying out the specific tasks or roles that they are enrolled for. And how is that we are going to do? First, we are going to check whether we are non-competent for that particular specified job or that's roles and responsibilities of that particular position or job. So non-competency typically refers as someone who lacks the necessary skills, abilities or qualification for a particular task, role or a particular situation that they are going to face. It suggests a state of not being adequately equipped or proficient in a specific area. With respect to the commercial context, being non-competent in a role may indicate lack of required knowledge or capabilities to perform that particular job or role very successfully. It is often essential for any individual to identify the areas of their non-competencies and seek opportunity for improvement or get a training so that they can enhance their skills and effectiveness. So what is then the competency, or are you competent enough? Well, competent or competency refers to the positions of necessary skills, knowledge or abilities to perform a particular task or the way they are going to handle a specific role or responsibility in an effective manner. A competent individual is well qualified and he has the capability and capacity of meeting all the requirements and expectations associated with respect to that particular job or situation or challenge. Competency often involves a combination of education, skills, training, experience, and of course, also the practical knowledge, enabling someone to navigate their responsibility with confidence and proficiency. In various contexts, being competent is crucial for achieving success, delivering the quality and desired outcomes, and contributing positively to their own personal and professional success, but also indirectly they are also contributing to the society or the community. So let's try to understand what is the examples of this. So your competency and your growth. Well, here there are n number of secondary factors for every primary factor that we discussed in our last video that is going to help any individual so that they can directly be proportionate with their competency and as well as their growth. So now let's try to understand with the example so that you can have a clear knowledge or how exactly we can handle this particular situation. For example, see, as you can see, there are two variables here. The first variable on the left hand side is the competencies, and they have 4 levels. Competency is low, competency is medium, competency is high, and competency is under the expert category. Similarly, horizontally, we have education. If your education levels are low, medium, high, or excellence. So now let us have the comparison. Where exactly do you stand using all these 4 two variables and the 4 zones that are in this 2 variables. Now if your competency is low and your education is low, that means that your pass class is low. So let us consider this as Q1, and that is quadrant 1, and the 1x represents the number of growth or the number of times of growth you require. So it is, let us consider Q1 at the rate of 1x where both the levels are low. Now that means the desired output would be pass class. Now let us go to the next quadrant number 2, that is the number of growth is 2x. So here the competency level of that individual is also medium and their education is also medium because of the competency mediums. So now their pass class would be second class. Okay, so that means they are achieving somewhere below 60%. Now if your competency levels is high, and in turn your education will also be on a higher end, so this becomes the Q3 or 3x growth, where both are high, hence their output or result would be 3x, and hence now you can consider them as first class, and their scoring is somewhere between 70% and 90%. Now if your competency is in the expert level and you have achieved excellence in your education, then you will be placed in quadrant 4, that is your growth is around 4x. Okay, and here only the toppers are going to place themselves. Now with this you can clearly understand where exactly is your current position and where exactly is your desired position. For example, let us put it in this way. If your competency is low and your variable education is also low, then that means that you are in the pass class right now and you are placed yourself in quadrant 1. So that is your current position. Now, from this quadrant, if you want to move yourself or transform yourself to quadrant number 4, that is quadrant 4 is nothing but your competency levels should be in the expert zone, and at the same time you want to achieve excellence in your education. That means that you want to become a topper. Now, what is the growth nXP? nXP is quadrant 4 minus quadrant 1, that is 4x minus 1x, that is equal to 3xp. You understood? 3xp would be your result for moving or transforming yourself from quadrant 1 to quadrant 3. That means that 3 times more you have to put efforts in transforming yourself from quadrant 1 to quadrant 4. Now, with respect to similarly, we will now try to understand the various different parameters that we will be covering up in with respect to yourself, and also with respect to the 3 primary factors that we have already discussed in our previous videos. So now let us try to understand the primary element U, that is the VIP part. So if you want to have more recall once again, you can just have one more go through with the video number to the VIP. Okay, now let's try to understand. So secondary factor U1. So we have defined the secondary factor U1, and the factor variable here is education. Well, education is a systematic process for acquiring knowledge, skills, value, and attitudes through formal or informal means. The education of every human being plays a vital role in their personal development, society progress, and the cultivation of informed and capable citizens of that particular country. Education can be achieved in various forms. It is a cornerstone for personal and professional advancement. It empowers individuals to lead a fulfilling lives, contribute to the well-being of their communities, societies, or countries, and they are also adaptable to changes that is rapidly happening in this changing world. Understand? Here. Okay. So now the competency and education. If your competency is low and if your education is low, that means that you are under quadrant 1, and 1x is your nXP, present nXP, and you will be considered as an undergraduate. If your competency levels is medium and your education is also medium, that means that you are placed yourself in quadrant 2 and you are a graduate. If your competency levels is 3, that is high, and if you will have a you are highly educated, that means that you are placed yourself in quadrant number 3 and your nXP is 3x and you are a postgraduate. And if your competency is in the expert level and you have achieved excellence in your educational field, that means that you have been placed in quadrant 4, that is nXP is 4x and you are a doctorate. So this is how we categorize everyone. Now it is left to your discretion whether you want to change your current position and get into some desired positions. For example, let us put it this way. You are a graduate in BCom. Now you want to pursue or take yourself into the next level, transform yourself into the next level, and probably you can from quadrant 2 you can move to quadrant 3, that is postgraduate. That means that either you can be doing your MCOM or MBA. So this is how you can proceed with your competency and education. So let's try to understand the secondary factor. So answer in the assessment form given in the link. What is your current position in education? That is question U11. What is your current position in your education? Just mention it. And if you have any desired position in education, as I explained earlier, if you want to move yourself from this quadrant to the next quadrant, what would be that quadrant? So what is your desired position? You make note of it, and as explained in the earlier slides, what would be the growth factor for education? So what is your nXP? So your desired position minus your current position. Suppose if you want to move out from quadrant 2 to quadrant 3, that is 3x minus 2x is 1x. But if you want to become a doctorate or PhD personality, then the nXP will be 4x minus 2x, that is 2x. So make a note of this in this particular order. So now let's move to the next secondary factor, that is mode. What exactly do you mean by mode? Well, mode is any human being's approach towards life that encompasses their mindset, attitude, strategies for navigating the complexities of their daily existence. Everyone's approach towards life involves a combination of mindset, behavior, their habits, patterns, choice that contribute to personal fulfillment and their ability to navigate life complexities with grace and optimism. So now let's try to understand what are the 4 quadrants in this particular secondary factor. Well, the first one is, if your competency is low, that means that you are also on the low mode. That means that you are placed yourself in quadrant 1, that is non-active. Well, what exactly do we mean by this? A non-active approach is characterized by a more passive or reactive substance, where every individual may be less inclined to take any initiative or get engaged themselves in any activity to shape their circumstances. In a non-active approach, there might be a tendency of where they may respond to situations as they arise rather than actively seeking opportunities or addressing the challenges proactively. That means they are not active at all. So what is the next quadrant? The next quadrant is reactive quadrant, where your competency is medium and your mode is also medium. So what exactly do we mean by reactive mode? Well, any person who is in this quadrant, they are in a reactive approach for responding to any situations, challenges or events after they occur, rather than taking any proactive or anticipatory measures. In this particular reactive approach, individuals may wait for circumstances to unfold before taking any action, or often responding to immediate needs or issues as they arise. So they basically react to the circumstances and how they want to take into consideration. So this is quadrant 2. Now coming to quadrant 3. Quadrant 3 is their competency levels is high and their mode of operations is also high. What exactly do we mean by an active approach? Well, active approach is an approach or mode where any individuals take initiative, plan and actively work towards achieving their objectives or goals. Rather than waiting for events to unfold, they participate with an anticipation of possibilities, seek opportunities, and make decisions that are aligned with their objectives or goal or purpose. So this is what we exactly mean by active. So the next one here is proactive. What exactly do we mean by proactive? Well, the competency of that individual is on the expert level and they are ready or prepared for any mode with excellence. That means that a proactive approach is a forward thinking and anticipated stance towards situation, challenges and goals. These individuals with proactive approach take initiative, plan ahead and actively work to prevent problems or seize the opportunities that come along their way. By doing this, they are merely reacting to events as they unfold. They are actively in shape and influence the outcomes. That means they are well prepared and competent enough to handle any situation or circumstances. So let's try to understand what is your current position of mode, whether you are reactive, non-active, active or proactive. And similarly, mention your current position in this particular question, U21, and also make note from your current position, where do you want to transform yourself or your desired position. That is U22, question number U22. So make a note of your desired position and also at the same time, what is the growth factor that you are looking out for here, whether it is 3xp, 2xp or 1xp. That only you have to decide. Now coming to the next secondary factor, that is from problem to solution. So what exactly do we mean by this? Any human being addressing problems effectively involves moving from identification to solutions. This is a systematic approach that helps that particular individual to transform challenges into opportunities for growth and as well as at the same time improve their efficiency. It also emphasizes a proactive mindset, collaboration and continuous learning, fostering resilience and adaptability in the face of difficulties. So, how exactly you transform yourself from a problem and get into the solution zone? That means, as we discussed in the earlier this one, are you a part of the problem or are you a part of the solution? So exactly to go to the next understanding with respect to this particular secondary factor, let us try to understand the quadrants. Well, if your competency is low with respect to the problem to solution factor, and if your solving capacity is very low, that means that you are placed in quadrant 1 and you are in many problems. You are supposed to be dealing with many problems. So here you will be facing a lot of problems and there are very minimal solutions. So let us try to understand quadrant number 2 right now. So let us go to quadrant 2. You have some problems because your competency is medium and your problem to solution is also in the medium zone. That means you have some problems and which also says that you have some solutions. So very similarly, let us understand quadrant number 3. That means if your competency is high and your capacity or capability to move yourself from problem to solution is also high, that means you have some solutions and with minimal problems. But if you are placing yourself in quadrant 4, that means you have maximum or many solutions, or rather, let us put it very straight, you have solutions to all the problems that you are going to face. So that means that your competency is on the expert level, and hence your ability to solve the problems is also excellent. So right now let us try to understand the secondary factor U31. So what is your current position from problem to solution? And similarly, secondary factor U32, pro-solve your desired positions. Make a note of your desired positions from your current position, where exactly you want to transform yourself into the desired position. And also try to calculate your nXP with respect to this particular secondary factor U33. Now coming to the next secondary factor U4, that is mindset. Well, mindset refers to the mental attitude, beliefs and perspectives that shape how individuals perceive and approach various aspects of life. This mindset plays a very significant role in influencing the behavior, the patterns, the habits, the decision making, and of course the responses to the challenges that they are forced to undergo. So let us try to understand the 4 quadrants here. The first quadrant is negative mindset. So when your mindset is low and your competency levels is also low, you are placed in quadrant 1 and your way of mindset is on the negative. So what exactly do we mean by negative? A negative mindset can cast a shadow over one's perspectives, their experiences, and their inhibiting the ability to see opportunities. Those with negative mindset may rather focus on obstacles rather than possibilities. They are leading a cycle of self-doubt and they are reluctant to embrace the change. Now this attitude can hinder their personal growth, strain relationship, and they are not able to solve the problems, as their tendency to deal with the challenges is not adequate, or they are not capable of doing it. So what is that they are supposed to do if they want to overcome this? Well, overcoming a negative mindset often involves changing the negative thoughts, be more optimistic, cultivate a habit of facing difficulties, recognizing the impact of negativity involve that individual wellness or well-being, and break free from its grip and open oneself to more positive and constructive mindset. So this is what would be the changes if they want to come out of this zone. Now let us try to understand the next quadrant, that is fixed mindset. So what exactly do you mean by fixed mindset? Here their mindset, thinking of their mindset level is on the medium zone, and at the same time their competency levels is also medium. So how exactly we can identify a fixed mindset? Well, individuals with a fixed mindset always try to avoid challenges. They do this because they fear failures as a reflection of their inherent capabilities. 90% they will shy away from the effort, and they do not want to view the constructive work. Rather, they don't want to face the criticism as a personal attack and look towards an opportunity for their growth. This mindset people can be limited towards learning, and hence they hinder their personal development and professional advancement. And due to this, they do not focus on proving their existing abilities, and they don't want to cultivate the new one. So what is the shift they want to change from the fixed mindset? Well, one has to encourage themselves to shift to the growth mindset, where challenges are embraced, efforts is seen as a path to mastery, and setbacks are viewed as an opportunity to learn, and hence they are crucial for fostering resilience and unlocking their full potential. Now, let's go to the quadrant 3. Well, quadrant 3 is where competency levels are high, and they have a high mindset. So hence they are placed in quadrant 3x, and here the mindset approach is open approach, or we can call them as open mindset. Well, this mindset is categorized by their belief that they have the abilities, intelligence and talents can be developed through dedication, efforts and learning. Individuals with an open mindset embrace challenges, put efforts as a path to improvement, and view setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. They are open to new ideas, experiences and perspectives. They are fostering for a continuous desire for knowledge and growth in the areas of personal and as well as professional development. An open-minded person promotes resilience, adaptability, and a positive outlook on learning and innovations. Encouraging an open mindset can lead to more fulfilling and dynamic approach of life, where that particular individuals are actively seeking opportunities for growth and are open to possibilities that come with each experience. So they are quite open-minded and they are looking forward to grab the opportunities that come along their way. The next level is growth mindset, where the competency is considered as expert competent and their mindset is in the excellence zone. Hence, they fall under quadrant 4, that is growth mindset. So, what exactly you mean by growth mindset? A growth mindset is a belief that one has the ability, intelligence, and talents where they can embrace challenges and put efforts to make that path and convert their path into mastery and view failures as opportunities. They love learning and willingness to take part in new challenges. People with a growth mindset believe in the potentials of personal, professional, and intellectual development, leading to more positive and proactive approach of life. Cultivating a growth mindset involves embracing challenges, valuing efforts, seeking opportunities for learning, and maintaining a belief in the capacity of continuous improvement and development throughout their life. So these are the 4 quadrants of mindset. So now let us do the exercise by noting down your current position in question number U41 and as well as noting down the current desired positions rather in question number U42. and as well as considering the nXP growth with respect to mindset. Now coming next is the most important aspect of any human being, that is with respect to time. Well, time management is a process of planning and organizing on how one wants to spend their time with respect to specific tasks and activities. Effectively managing time is crucial for productivity, achieving goals, and maintaining a healthy work-life balance. Effective time management is rather a skill that can be developed over a period of time. It involves a combination of planning, organizing, and self-discipline. By implementing these principles, any individual can enhance their ability to manage time efficiently and accomplish tasks in more structured and productive manners. So let's try to understand their quadrants here. The first quadrant. There you can eliminate this quadrant because the competency level is low and the time required is also very low. For example, watching TV or maybe watching some movie. So they can just eliminate it. Now the second quadrant is where it is a bit higher responsible when compared to the quadrant 1. So for example, health checkup or maybe some other shopping. So they can schedule it at a particular time which is convenient and which is not affecting their other activities. So that can be considered as quadrant 2, where the competency levels is medium and the time required is also medium. The next one is it requires high time and also competency level is high. That means quadrant 3, where you have to delegate the work to someone who is trustworthy and who can execute that particular job or work or situation or circumstances on behalf of you and get the work done. For example, maybe you are quite busy and you are not in a position to reply all the mails that is going to come to you. So you can dedicate any one person from your team just to reply all the mails on behalf of you. So that's how you can delegate and also ensure that the work is executed. The next one is quadrant number 4, where there would be few roles and responsibilities that has to be executed only by you yourself. For example, project planning or meetings, crucial meetings, or deciding on some issue, or incorporating some new formats or improvisation of your productivity or performance. So where only you are going to involve, and because you are going to involve because you are the deciding authority of that particular role or responsibility. For example, project planning. So like this, you have to do it by yourself and you cannot eliminate it or schedule it or delegate it to someone else. So right now, let us try to understand your current positions in this and also your desired positions with this and what is the growth factor you are looking out with respect to this. Now coming to the next factor, or rather it's the primary factor, wealth. So here we are going to discuss a series of secondary factors, and among them is the first one is profession, which we consider as factor number W1. Well, what exactly do you mean by profession? A profession refers to an occupation that involves specialized education, specialized training, and expertise in a particular field. Well, everyone often we undergo a formal education, and we obtain certificates, or we obtain licenses, and then we start engaging ourselves with the profession, and we start developing ourselves to stay in that particular field or the job. Okay. Now let us try to understand, by choosing a profession, you are going to make a significant decision in your life, and often considers the factors such as personal interest, skills, values, and the potential impact that you are going to execute on that particular work when you are making these choices are the most important factors with respect to profession. Now let us try to understand what are the four quadrants of profession. The first one here is the competency level is low and the profession levels are also low. That means that you are in quadrant 1, and we can consider you as an employee or an employed with respect to some organization. Here your competency is low because you are solving a particular problem. It might be one or two problems. So hence you have been employed here, and your competency level is low, and hence professionally you are in the first quadrant. When it comes to the second quadrant, your competency levels is also a bit medium, and hence your professional is also in the medium. So we can consider the self-employed people in quadrant 2. In quadrant 3, we consider entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are people who are solving one or two problems that are major. Okay, so their competency levels is high, and even in the professional wise they are at a higher quadrant. And the last one is multipreneurs, because they would have upgraded themselves from entrepreneurs, and where entrepreneurs are able to solve one or two problems towards the society, whereas multipreneurs are handling multiple problems and they are solving multiple problems with respect to societies, because their competency levels are high, which is nothing but experts, and professionally they are doing in the excellence zone. So now let us try to identify your current position with question number W11, and your desired position with respect to the secondary factor of profession in question number W12, and also the nXP with profession in question number W13. So the next secondary factor is experience. Well, experience comes as you start growing in that particular profession. What exactly do we mean by experience? Well, experience can be referred to the cumulative knowledge, skills, and the insights gained through one's journey of profession. Professional experiences encompasses a wide range of situations, interactions, and challenges that contribute for the professional development and as well as personal growth. Now let's try to understand what are the four quadrants of this experience. The first one is, since the competency levels is low and the experience is also low, we can consider them as discoverer, because here since both the variables are low, they are in the initial stages of their experience, and hence they are trying to discover each and every situation or skills. The next is navigator. So their competency levels is also medium and experience levels is also medium. So they are able somehow navigate through the roles and responsibilities and see to that they are achieving, or rather they are reaching their targeted goals or objectives. The third one here is balancer, where their competency levels is high and as well as their experience levels is also high. Now they are multitaskers and they are able to balance each task with their experience, and they try to reach or achieve their respective goals or objectives. The fourth one here is the masters, where the competency levels is at the expert level and experience is at the excellence level. Hence they have become the masters, and whatever the time required to execute would be maybe in couple of minutes they are able to execute things and achieve excellence in their challenges. So let us try to understand your current positions here with respect to experience in question number 11, W21, and again in W22 we'll try to understand what would be your desired position that you want to transform and at what rate. Now the next is secondary factor W3, that is income. What exactly do you mean by income? Well, income not only refers to the money or earning that any individual or entity receives on a regular basis. How they are getting this on a regular basis? In exchange of goods or services, or even as returns on investment. It serves as a very crucial financial resource, and it is the key factor in any human being's personal and economically well-being. Managing and budgeting income effectively is crucial for that particular individual's financial stabilities and also for achieving their financial goals. It involves considerations like savings, investment, debt, management, planning for both, or rather for all the three, the short term, the mid term and the long term financial needs of that particular individual. So where exactly we can understand the four quadrants. The first quadrant is, since you are on the employed in the professional wise, your quadrant 1 in income is be on the 5 digits, whereas the self-employed who are in quadrant 2 with respect to profession, their income would be in 6 digits. And quadrant 3, which is high on both the ends, here we can find entrepreneurs who are earning between 7 and 8 digits per annum. And finally, we see the experts or the multipreneurs on the quadrant 4, and their annual earning would be somewhere between 9 digits or 10 digits. So here, let us try to identify in W31 with respect to your current position of income, whether you are in the quadrant 1 or quadrant 2, and your desired position, quadrant 3 or quadrant 4, and at the same time what would be your growth factor with respect to income. Next is planning. Planning is a very crucial secondary factor that involves setting goals and creating a roadmap for your future that would be encompassing with respect to various aspects of your life. It is going to be a dynamic and ongoing process that helps you to make intentional choices to achieve personal and professional fulfillment. So let us try to understand what are the four quadrants here. Since you are employed and you are in the monthly on 5-digit modules, your planning would be only with respect to monthly planning. The next one here is quadrant 2, where people with self-employed as profession, and their digits would be somewhere around 6 digits. Their way of planning is yearly planning. Quadrant number 3, you find multipreneurs who are earning around 7 to 8 digits, and their way of planning is for the lifetime. Whereas quadrant number 4, you have multipreneurs and they plan it for generations. So this is the 4 quadrants of planning. Now let us identify your current position with respect to planning and what is the desired position you want to transform yourself, and at what growth rate you want to transform yourself. Now let's move to the next factor, that is second primary factor, health. And here the first secondary factor would be fitness. So what exactly do you mean by fitness? Well, here we are concentrating fitness only with respect to physical fitness. See, there are more than 3-4 types of fitnesses which can be considered, which we'll be considering in our final programs. But with respect to this particular circumstances or situation, we are considering only physical fitness, where it can be referred to the overall health and well-being of the particular individual's body, and very particularly in terms of efficiency of bodily functioning and ability to perform physical activities. It encompasses various components which are contributing towards individual overall physical health. Now, what exactly are the 4 quadrants of physical health? We'll try to understand. The first one is non-fit, that is, they don't do any exercises and their fitness levels is very low, and at the same time their competency levels is also very low. We can consider under this category most of the general public. Now the second quadrant is intermediate, where you find their fitness levels is medium and their competency levels is also medium. So we can consider them as intermediate, and the class of people whom we can consider here is people who are very eagerly doing actively with respect to health or physical fitnesses. And the third one here is at the advanced level, where their fitness levels are high and their competency levels is also high. We can consider this quadrant as advanced quadrant, where people who are really want to be fit, physically fit, we can consider them in this particular quadrant. And of course, the final quadrant is professionals, where their competency levels is at the expert levels and excellence is also at the expert levels. The first people whom we can consider here is sports personalities and also film personalities. They are very professional towards their fitness programs, and also the fitness coaches. We can consider them in this particular quadrant. So now let's try to identify your current fitness positions with respect to the question H11 and your desired fitness positions with respect to H22 and the growth rate or the growth factors with respect to H13 with respect to the fitness. Now the secondary factor of health we are considering here is food and nutrition. Well, food and nutrition are fundamental aspects of human beings' well-being. They are providing the essential elements that are needed for growth, development, and overall health. And here we are considering two factors. One is food, the other is nutrition. With respect to food, any substance that is concerned provide nutrition support for the body. It includes a wide variety of items such as fruits, vegetables, greens, proteins, dairy products, etc. etc. Every food contributes with various nutrients such as carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and each of these components playing a vital or a specific role in maintaining an individual's health. And coming back to nutrition, here nutrition is a subject how the body is going to utilize the food and the components of the food. It involves understanding the psychological and biochemical process through which nutrients are acquired, which are essential for metabolism and utilization of energy, growth, and maintenance of the bodily functions. So here let us try to understand what are the four quadrants of food and nutrition. The first quadrant being unhealthy food, because your food and nutrition is on the lower scales, and as well as your competency levels is also lower scales, and hence the first quadrant is consuming unhealthy food. The second quadrant is competency levels is medium, and food and nutrition levels are also on the medium level. And quadrant 2 we can consider as inorganic foods. Quadrant 3 is a mixture of all. Their competency levels is high, and their food nutrition levels are also, knowledge about food and nutrition are also on a higher level. Hence they are taking the mixed foods. And finally the fourth quadrant, which is an expert competence and excellence in with respect to food and nutrition. So here only organic food can be considered. People who are consuming the organic food, they can be placed in quadrant 4. Now identify your current position with respect to food and nutrition. Then identify your desired position where you want to transform yourself, and also the growth factor with respect to food and nutrition. The next secondary factor is water. Water is the most essential part of any human being. Water for human consumption, commonly known as drinking water, is a critical resource for sustaining life. Access to safe and clean drinking water is the fundamental right for any human being towards their health and well-being. It is very essential factor, because based on the water, various body functions including digestion, hydration, and temperature is regulated. Adequate water consumption promotes overall health, helps preventing dehydration, supports the proper functioning of organs and systems in that particular human body. Now let's try to understand the 4 quadrants with respect to water. The first quadrant, where the competency levels are strong acid and water is very bad in nature. So here we are considering hard water or dirty water, where their pH levels are below 4. So this is considered as bad water or dirty water, which is placed in quadrant 1. So in quadrant 2, the competency levels are ascetic, okay, and the water is really bad for consumption of human beings, because here we can consider reverse osmosis RO waters, and basically when you have the pH test done with respect to RO waters, normally you find their pH levels that are below 6.5. So what is the next quadrant 3? Quadrant 3, it's a neutral competent water and it is good for your body. That is tap water or the regular drinking water is far more better than the RO water. Please keep this in mind. Tap water is far more better than the reverse osmosis water. And if you have the pH test executed on this, when tested, you find a green color and it is 7 pH. So what is the best water? Which is, well, alkaline and ionized water is the best water. The competency levels here is alkaline, and this water that is above, when tested on the pH scale, when they have blue or purple, blue, indigo and purple. If these are the colors, then it is considered as alkaline as well as ionized water, and their pH levels are more than 7.5. Now this is what is the water that is supposed to be very, very healthy for our human body. Now consider what is your current position and what is your desired position. I think we have missed a slide here. So let me just add up one more slide here. So we will add up. We'll have a duplicate of this. Then we will consider this as H13, and here we'll consider it as current position, and then we will move this here. So this is secondary factor with respect to H31 water, your current position is, and next slide is secondary factor H32, that is water with desired position. And then of course we will have growth factor H33 with respect to water, growth factor H33. So this completes the secondary factor of health. Now let us move on to the third primary factor, that is knowledge. So primary factor knowledge, we find a series of questions here in the case series, and among them the first one is skills. K1 is skills. So skills are those knowledge that can be learned and practiced with ability to enable that particular individual to perform specific tasks, solve problems and achieve goals effectively. These skills can be acquired through education, training or practical experiences. Skills can be broadly categorized into two main types. The first one is the hard skills and the second one is the soft skills. Now let us try to understand what is the hard skills. Well, these are tangible skills, teachable abilities that are often job specific and technical in nature. Examples include proficiency in programming language, data analysis or operating a specialized machinery. So these can be considered as hard skills. Now what is soft skills? Soft skills are those skills that are developed by the individuals that enhance their interaction and relationship. Soft skills include communications, teamwork, adaptability, leadership, time management, etc. and etc. Both these two types of skills play a crucial role in personal and professional success, contributing to that individual's overall competency and effectiveness in various development, rather various areas of life, with continuous development and refinement of skills that are essential for adapting as per the changing environments to pursue their personal and professional goals. So what exactly is the four quadrants of this particular skills? Let us try to understand it. The first one, where the skills levels are low and the competency is also low, we can consider beginners in the quadrant 1. Second, the competency levels and the skill levels are in the medium zone. We can consider such type of people as intermediate and are placed in quadrant 2. Competency is high and respective skills are also high, so we can consider them in quadrant 3, and we can label them as advanced levels. And quadrant 4, the competency levels are very high and the skills are in the excellence zone, so we can consider them as experts. So now try to identify your current position in skills, whether you are beginner, intermediate, advanced or expert. And similarly also try to consider what exactly would be your desired positions and what is the growth factor that you would like to implement. The next secondary factor here in knowledge is K2, that is learning. Learning is a dynamic and lifelong process for acquiring knowledge, skills, understanding the competencies through various means of studies, experience, practice, and as well as teaching. It involves absorption and integration of information, leading to personal and professional development and ability to adapt to new situations. Learning can occur in formal settings like classrooms, through self-directed efforts, or through hands-on experiences in the real world. It is not limited only to academical subjects, but extends to a wide range of fields, including personal, professional growth and development, understanding different cultures, traditions, embracing a continuous and open-minded approach to learning, enhance one's adaptability, problem-solving competence, and overall well-being. So let us try to understand what exactly is the four quadrants with respect to learning. So as we know in the educational example what we took in the first to understand the quadrants, here the competency levels is low because their learning capability is low and hence their performance or learning inputs would be below average, that is 0 to 40%, and hence they are placed in quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 is an average where their competency and learning levels are medium. The utilization factor here is 41 to 70% and hence can be considered for quadrant 2. Quadrant 3 is above average where their competency levels are high and their learning methodology is also high, and hence their scoring levels is around 71 to 90%, and hence they can be considered under the classification of above average, and hence they are placed in quadrant 3. Quadrant 4 again is the toppers. Their competency levels is at the extremes and their learning capabilities are excellent. Hence their scoring levels would be, learning levels would be 90% and more, and hence they are classified as toppers and they can be placed in quadrant 4. So now let's try to understand your current positions in learning and your desired positions for learning and the growth factor. Now once you learn, you have to implement it. So let us try to understand what is implementation. Implementation refers to a process of putting a plan, an idea, or a policy into action. It involves executing and carrying out the steps outlined in every strategy or project. It has to be effectively implemented to get crucial achievements and also to get the desired outcomes or goals. So very similar to learning, we have four quadrants, and again it is the repeat of the learnings only, where the implementation factors is 0 to 40. So then we can consider them in quadrant 1, that is below average. If it is 41 to 70% of implementation, it is considered as average, and if it is between 71 and 90%, it is above average implementation, and if the implementation is ranging between 90 and 100, then we can consider them as toppers of implementation. So now let us try to identify your current position and also understand the desired positions where you want to achieve in implementation, secondary factor, and what would be your growth factor here. And the next secondary factor here is roles. So what kind of role you would like to play? Well, if your competency levels is low, your roles will also be low. Here we can consider the well-wishers or motivators, because whatever a well-wisher or a motivator gives you the idea or the advice, this advice will slowly be eradicated within a couple of days or maybe a couple of weeks. Now the second level we can consider as influencer. Influencer, their roles is medium because their competency levels is medium. For example, if you are influenced by some person or if you are following some person, that person can influence you maybe for a couple of months or maybe up to a year. After that, you will find a new influencer and then again you restart with the process. Okay. Now the third quadrant, you find a leader or a coach. A leader or a coach, their competency levels are high and hence their roles will also be high. And you can be in touch with the coach or a leader maybe for a couple of years. Okay, so you will be